Welcome to Two Sides, Many Truths. We're going to talk about our side. These two chicks are going to talk about our side, but we know there's many truths, and we want you to think about what is your truth. Today, we're going to talk about, are you being sifted or are you shifting? What do we mean by that? Okay, let's get it.
Okay.
All right. So, Lashika, we've been having some heavy conversations. Just girl
Yeah.
talk. We've been talking about business. We've been talking about a lot of things, and I said something. I said I felt like I was being sifted, and you said you thought you heard the word. No, no, that's not what I said. What did I say, Lashika? What did I say?
You said that you said something about there needing to be a shift. The focus was shift.
That's what I
And
said.
even though I heard you say shift, you know you said shift. I also heard sift.
Hmm.
And when I mentioned it to you and I said, Aretha, I know you just said shift. I heard that's what you said, but I'm hearing sift. And you said, oh my God, I heard the same thing.
I did. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about how we've been so complacent, and I want complacent sounds so bad, but just how we're ready for a change in our business
Yeah,
models. We love what we do, but we want to do something new. I was telling
yeah,
Lashika I had a wedding cake business for 7 years, and I was ready to do something new, and so I shut it down. And you can't just shut down a wedding cake business. You have to turn your phone off. You have to disconnect your phone. And that's what I did. And Lashika, you said you did the same thing.
yes, yes, for a couple of businesses. One particularly was the tax preparation company that I had for about 12 years, but that was funny to hear that you turned your phone off. That's exactly what I did. And I had to change my number and everything. And I ended up relocating.
So me too. I relocated from
True
Virginia to
story.
Florida. Oh my God, so many things. So when I said, that's when I said I feel like we are shifting, but my mouth also said sifting. I don't know if I said it, but I heard it in my mind when I said shifting, and you said Aretha. I heard you say sifting. So that's what we
Yeah,
want to talk about today. Being no. Yeah, are you being sifted or are you shifting? So are you shifting or are you being sifted? Okay,
yeah.
break it down, Lashika, because you was like, I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
I had to. I was just like, okay, I need to run to my computer right now, and because I love definitions, and definitions is what a lot of times gets me down a rabbit hole, which could be a blessing or a curse. But so Rita's like, no, you got to look it up in real time. So I'm looking this up in real time. So I'm gonna first look up the definition for the word sift. SIFT. And so, for those of you who are a bit old school, just a little bit, you might remember. And some people still may do it now, but I remember back in the day when my grandmother and my great grandmother would be baking something, and they'd whip out their flour, and then they'd pull out this weird looking contraption. I mean, it just looked like it was doing a whole lot of something,
Mhm.
but it was a sifter. And so they would pour the flour in there and they'd be sifting it, and so some would come through the end, almost kind of like a strainer. So I was thinking, let me pull up the definition of sifting and definition of shifting, just so that we are clear what we're talking about. So my computer is moving slow, so I'm gonna have to get creative and do something else. So one moment here. So
Okay.
sift,
While
the
you're doing that,
definition.
can I say
Yes,
something? When you brought up
please.
your grandma and the sifter, okay, me, going to chef school, being a baker, I
Mhm.
know the process of sifting because, in baking, it's a process, it's chemistry. And so when you're sifting the flour, you're doing multiple things. You're sifting out any bugs that may be there. You're sifting out any
Mm,
clunks or chunks of whatever may be there. you are also making the flour softer. Yeah,
Mm.
because sometimes the flour is, depending on what kind of flour you're using, but you're kind of breaking it out. It's kind of almost like when you have sugar, the more you pulverize it, it becomes powdered sugar. So whatever you
Mm.
see on the bag where it says 10x, that means at times it was pulverized, pounded to make it powdered sugar. So, girl, we can go down a rabbit hole right here,
What?
but you just made me think of that. And my mind flashed back to chef school. Okay, go ahead.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Oh, I'm so loving this. Okay, so there are two definitions for the word sift. Okay. The first, well, I'm going to read the second one, but this one is a verb, and it says to examine something thoroughly so as to isolate that which is most important or useful.
Mm, read it again.
Okay. To examine something thoroughly so as to isolate that which is important or useful.
Mm. Okay, what about shifting?
All right, let's go to shift.
Because I went to ChatGPT and ChatGPT, oh my God.
Oh,
Oh my God.
read what you have from ChatGPT.
Okay, so I'm going to go to sifting first because you read that one first. It says the process of separating or filtering out unwanted elements, typically using a sieve or mesh, which we just talked about. It involves sorting or examining carefully to distinguish the valuable from the non valuable. Hello.
Come on.
Think about that spiritually. Oh, God.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, metaphorically sifting through ideas to find the most feasible one. And that's what
Oh,
we were doing earlier.
that is so good.
Okay, go to shifting, and then I'm gonna read ChatGPT. You go to shifting.
Okay, shifting. So shifting. A couple of definitions here. I'll read one. For the verb, shift means to move or cause to move from one place to another, especially over a small distance.
Hmm.
Okay. I was just going to read just one, but I think it's important for me to mention the second verb for the definition for shift. And it says a change gear in a vehicle. So think about that
Mhm.
metaphorically and spiritually to
Yeah,
change gear in a vehicle.
yeah. ChatGPT said something very similar, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing. It also said the act of changing or moving positions, referring to transition from a place to another, but shifting your mindset from
Mm.
scarcity to abundance.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah, that's good.
So, but based on our conversation earlier, I feel like I am being shifted. I'm
Mm-hmm.
shifting, but I'm being sifted in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
being sifted because I'm sifting through ideas and thoughts and feelings to find the most feasible one for me, for my life, for my future, to be future focused on. But by me being sifted, it's also going to shift me into a
Yeah.
mindset of abundance because we know we don't do abundance, we multiply our talents over here. We just multiply. So I just had to have us come live to talk about this. Now, I know I feel based on now what you know, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling like I'm feeling like sifting causes shifting, and shifting can cause sifting.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so good.
But it is so true. So what I'm saying is, and I'm talking about my life, talk about
Mhm,
me.
mhm, mhm,
So when I think about the areas that I am sifting, those areas that I am thoroughly examining so that I can isolate and understand what is most valuable for me, my health, my wealth, my family, my fill in the blank. As I'm examining those areas, is also putting me in a position to shift to those things that are more aligned with where I am and where I'm going.
mm,
So that's why I say sifting can cause some shifting.
that's so good. That was a good close right there, actually. I think that was a good close. I'm gonna let that be a close.